Okay, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Elaine Fiore, and I'm an environmental teacher and magnet coordinator at Beachside Montessori Village here in South Florida.
And can you talk about the Miami Seaquarium and Tokitae and how it kind of came on your radar, this campaign that Lummi Nation is doing?
Well, we have a nonprofit. It's called Free Our Seas, and we had an art festival on the beach, and one of the parents of my students approached me and told me about the Lummi coming to call for the release of Tokitae, and thought that it would be something I'd be interested in. So we came last year. I brought a group of students and parents. We learned about Tokitae and the plan for her release. The students also made a mural that they created a mural and sent wishes to Tokitae.
Mm-hmm. So this year we're back, Lummi Nation is back, and what did it mean to you to kind of hear from the travelers with the totem pole and to hear just kind of their stories about what Tokitae means to them?
It was very impactful to hear from the Lummi why Tokitae is important to them, and the fact that Tokitae is a part of their family, and she was taken from their sea, from the Salish Sea in the 70s, and she was transported here to the Miami Sea Aquarium, where she's got to perform in order to eat, and it's a really small tank that she's in. And in our, I'm a sustainability teacher, as I mentioned, and in class we study endangered species, and we look at the interconnectedness of all living creatures. So it really hit home for me and for my students to look at Tokitae, whether she's an orca, she's a mammal, she's a living creature, and how she is calling to go home as well.
Yeah, any responses that you can remember that your students had and just kind of how they felt after participating?
So in class we did a debate, because you have to look at both sides. So we looked at the pros and cons. We debated animal captivity in general in zoos and in marine mammal parks. And so they had their own beliefs, but I had them randomly, we selected sides. So one of my students who was looking at animal captivity, especially with the marine mammals, she was telling me that she and her mother had just watched a documentary on human trafficking, and she's like, Miss Fiore, it's kind of similar to human trafficking, what was going on with the marine mammals as well. So that really, it hit home for her, and I didn't have that perspective either. A lot of the students, the marine mammal parks, SeaWorld, Sea Aquarium, it's just part of our culture, and we don't necessarily think, we don't have an opinion about it either way, because you're just like, oh, we're going to go to SeaWorld, we're going to learn about, we're going to be able to see these beautiful creatures. But what we don't realize is, number one, how they get there, why they're there, and how they're treated when they're there, and where they really should be, and they're an important part of the natural ecosystem of where they came from.
And this is kind of a two-part question, but I'm wondering, number one, we'll be visiting your school and spending some time with your students, and I'm wondering what you hope they get out of that very kind of intimate visit. And then part two is, we have 4 events here in Miami as Lummi Nation is traveling across the country to draw attention to Tokitae's imprisonment. And I'm wondering what you hope comes about from these 4 events that we're doing here in Miami.
Okay, so I'm very excited. When I was with the group last year, they had mentioned that they were interested in visiting a school, and I was like, yes, if you come back, please come to my school. So my students, I think what my students will get out of it is they get a different perspective. They have the chance to hear the stories from the Lummi that have been passed down from generation to generation, and an understanding of how important all creatures are to our whole picture. And we are all we're all one family. So I'd like them to get that. And last year, the traditional dances and chants and everything, it's just very, it really hits home. So I'm looking forward to them having that experience. And it's a special experience. You don't have the Pacific Northwest Lummi tribe come to your school every day, especially here in South Florida.
And then what are your hopes for this campaign in Miami and for Tokitae herself as we enter another hot summer with the sun beating down on her in her small concrete prison?
Well, I think that just like the experience changed my perspective, I'm very hopeful and encouraged that people who hear about it and people who hear from the Lummi are able to shift their perspectives on keeping marine mammals captive. And I have to say, I was visiting in the Keys, and they had like a swim with the dolphins. And before, I used to think I was like, oh, how cool would that be to swim with the dolphins? However, now I look at it, I'm like, oh, where did these dolphins come from? They're being kept captive there. It's not as, it just shifted my perspective. And I would much rather see these creatures go where they live and be able to witness them there.
Well, great. Thanks so much, Elaine.
Thank you.